Hi everyone, welcome to a new series where we will be featuring stories from the second annual Story Slam event. This episode is brought to you by Grace Snyder.
Hi, everyone. It's well known that going abroad during your college years sparks a huge learning curve, one filled with you learning different lifestyles, different cultures, just learning how to integrate yourself in different ways of life for wherever you choose to travel. It's a huge period of growth, and it's probably one of the most important reasons you should go abroad, right? To learn, to integrate, all those good things. Having full immersion and hands-on experiences outside of your comfort zone is how you grow and change for the better. For me, I had never really been out of the States before I left. I was in Ladakh, India. For those that don't know, Ladakh is like way up northern India, right by China and Pakistan's border. But before that, I had really only gone to like Mexico on my dad's family trips for his company, so that was really it. So I was really excited to see what life was like outside of US and Mexico. To prepare myself, I did an ungodly amount of reading and Googling. Weather, food, culture, everything I could think of. I was just trying to get a good read on what life was like in Ladakh. I had not known anyone prior to have gone to India. I was really excited. My mom got the wrong vibe when she was helping me pack. She made me buy a $50 water filtration system. I think she thought I was gonna be like collecting water off the side of the Himalayan mountains. I don't know. I was super overpacked, really excited. And I talked to pretty much every single person I could get my hands on that would be able to give me some information. I was ready to go there and fight all stereotypes, especially American tourist stereotypes, when I arrived. Some people told me some really helpful things. I was told to take Diamox. Ladakh is about 12,000 feet above sea level. I'm from Boston, that's 0 feet. So altitude meds were huge for preventing me getting sick. I was also told just, good life advice. I'm not that great with spice, just make sure they know that. Get that yogurt on the side. Make sure that yogurt doesn't have water in it, all the good things. Some people, 100% were messing with me. I spoke to someone who had actually been on the same trip with Dr. Chin sitting here, and she told me that I was gonna be washing my clothes out of a river. She said to make sure you bring laundry detergent and you got a good grip for when the water is strong that day. You don't wanna lose any socks. Preface, that's 100% not true. There are washing machines and lines to dry, but I was naive and I believed her. After all this prep, I thought I was ready. I was ready to go. I knew there'd be some bumps along the way, but I knew what to eat, where to go, where not to go, how to say water, bathroom, please, and hello. I was ready. What I was not ready for was how much I would learn, how fast, and just how quickly I would be humbled out there in the fields of Ladakh. You would not believe, there are no words to describe the amount of jaw on the floor, bright red face situations I got myself into. Because we know learning and mistakes, they are by no means mutually exclusive. So here today, let me humor you with 3 of my most important takeaways from Ladakh, 3 lessons I learned quick and only once. One is to stay away from street dogs, no matter how cute they are. I love dogs, and I knew that was one of the first pieces of advice. They could be rabid, they have disease, what medical help are you gonna get 12,000 feet in the middle of the Himalayas, right? Stay clear. So I would just, call them all my pookies and just Google at them. And promised them that I'd come back one day when I was older to take one home. I was doing really good, I promise. I stayed with that for the whole time I was there, right up until the end. We were at this beautiful hotel that's called the Dragon. We were celebrating a teammate's birthday. We had this beautiful lunch, dinner thing set up on the lawn, and this adorable mountain dog comes strolling around, and there was a man behind it. He had just found this dog on a trek. He was working on domesticating it, training it, getting it all up to code, whatever. So he offered me to pet it. Obviously the answer is yes. I forgot everything. Ran right up to it and got right in its face. I'm squishing it. Oh my God, so cute. I'm not that tall, and the dog was pretty much almost my height. He jumped up to give me a little kiss right in my mouth. For anyone that knows anything about rabies, saliva is how you get it, right? So now I'm melting down. I don't know what to do, but I can't ruin this amazing dinner and let my entire team, including Dr. Chin, know that I'm a brick. So I went to the bathroom, I washed my mouth out with water, which you're not supposed to even put in your mouth anyway, and I just called it a day. Around 11:30 p.m., I'm convinced my head is swelling. I have a pounding headache, like it's disease eating, it's eating away my brain. This is it. So I went to Dr. Chin's store right across the hall in our guest house, knocked on it. She opened, and I just started crying. I didn't know what to do. I was convinced that was it for me. Last my mother would ever hear from me, like whole thing. She just laughed at me, told me that I would know if I was rabid at that point, and just to go to bed. So I did feel better, but I stayed clear from street dogs from then on out. Lesson number 2 is do not open your mouth at a market. I mean, it wouldn't take, a person with half a brain to know that me, I don't need to even open my mouth. The paleness says it all. Anyone's looking to scam me, and I would too, I'm not gonna lie. If I saw a bunch of tourists and I was a saleswoman in the markets of Leh, like, you're my first victim. But I was getting a little more comfortable as we were there, and Smit's actually here. So it was me, Smit, and Pratiksha were the people I went to Ladakh with for my second year, and we were in a rug shop. It's a very common shop that they have all over the streets in the market, and I don't speak any Hindi or Ladakhi, so that's also important for this one. When Pratiksha speaks a little bit of Spanish, and I lost all of my Spanish speaking abilities back in high school, but I can still understand it decently well. So whenever she wanted to say something that she didn't want everyone to hear, she'd speak in Spanish, and I would just, give a sí, no, say, whatever I could muster up, but I could understand her. The shopkeeper heard us speaking Spanish, and he asked in Hindi to Smit and Pratiksha where we were from. Keep in mind, all over my head. So I just sit there kicking my legs on the chair, and somewhere in conversation, he picked up this idea that I was a famous internet sensation from Barcelona, and that my name was Olga. It was a joke that we had running with the team that in Spanish, Grace is hard to make a nickname for. So I was saying, well, at least in Spanish class, like instead of being like Gracia or whatever Grace translates to, my teachers just always called me Olga. So I was Olga for all of Spanish. So Smit looks up at me, he goes, breaks out of Hindi, like, isn't that right, Olga? So I just say, see, whatever. So next thing you know, he's running around and he's rolling out the most fine silk carpets and all this crazy stuff. He's asking me questions. I have no idea what he's doing. And they're all priced at like $3,000-$4,000 US, like money that I have not seen. So I'm like, all right, that's crazy. I leave. Next day, the entire shop, Olga ma'am, all over the streets. They all thought I was from Barcelona and that I had, rupees and rupees to spend. So from that moment on, I could not buy a single thing from the shops. I had to have either Pratiksha, Smit, or a Ladakhi friend do it for me because there was no chance. The sunglasses I wanted for 100 rupees, 900 for Olga ma'am. It was just not going well for me. So my mouth will forever stay shut after that. My third lesson, and probably the most vile and important, is to always ask what something is for before you go ahead and use it. After being scarred from the whole river is my washing situation thing, I thankfully was lucky enough to have our guest mom, Amalay in Ladakhi, who did our laundry. But I just felt guilty for asking her every week, right? Like, I'm gross, like, I'm dirty. I don't want to have her touching all my clothes. I just feel bad. So I had some leftover Traveler's detergent, and there's a bucket in the bathroom for those that want to bucket bathe, and I figured I'd get after it myself. Fill the bucket with water, quickly realized it was going to be harder than I thought. Ladakh is super dry, so from all the hiking, walking, lots of dirt, lots of mud, all the messy dal and sauces and stuff, they're all over me, right? I only have like 4 shirts. So I needed something to help me with removing these stains, and I only had, like a little Tide Pod. Right next to the shower was this awesome looking brush, looked like a 10 out of 10, looked like I could do some serious work. I thought it was for like sweeping or something. So I get after it with those stains, going at it, cleaning all my clothes, all of my clothes, socks, underwear, the whole thing. Not a problem, it worked, miracles, no stains. The whole week, I went on with wearing those clothes, and then that weekend, we took a trip up to Pangong Lake. Anyone that is familiar with Bollywood or has heard of Three Idiots, they filmed a couple scenes up in Pangong. I go into the motel, I go to the bathroom, and there's our exact same toilet brush thingy, but it's just against the toilet now, not by the shower, but it looks exactly the same. So I stand there, I'm like, that's funny, why would they put my laundry brush near the toilet? And then it hit me like a brick. Oh my God, I ran, I grabbed the brush, I run out, and I was like, oh my God, you know this brush, right? It was you in the room, you in particular. I was like, this is in our guest house, what is it for? And both of them were like, that's to clean the toilet, like obviously. Oh yeah, no, it was, pale, not many things rendered me speechless, but that one did. I had literally cleaned all of my clothes with a toilet brush. Oh my God, I didn't even think to ask. So yeah, I threw away all those underwear, don't worry, and I got all my stuff to Amelie to wash properly, because that's an infection waiting to happen. Forget about the rabies, that's it for me. Needless to say, I learned so much in Ladakh. No amount of preparation, packing, list writing could ever have me ready for what I experienced. And when I looked back, my mistakes were really what shaped my experience. They connected me with the locals effortlessly. I mean, who doesn't want to laugh at some psycho American like scrubbing their stuff with like a toilet brush? It gave me an instant connection to the locals. It was a great way to break down the barrier that inherently, as a white native English speaker, I had. I was telling stories to students, people our age. They were eating it up. It was great. And it really just allowed me, both in and out of an academic context, to connect with the people that were around me. Other than that, it gave me one hell of an immune system, and I could always reassure travelers that were going there that their mistakes were not that horrific, I promise. Um, so, yeah, the growth from traveling abroad, the good, the bad, the ugly, it's all worth it. Doing things like that, maybe minus the brush, that's how you let yourself be vulnerable, accept all these different mistakes that are gonna happen inevitably, and just allow yourself to make your world that much bigger. Life wasn't meant to be that serious anyway, so it's good to have a little bit of fun. Just please promise me you will never touch a brush that's in a bathroom without asking first. Thank you.
Hi, listeners. We'd like to remind you that the opinions expressed by our guests on this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Center for Education Abroad or the University of Rochester. Our podcast aims to foster dialogue, critical thinking, and exploration of various topics related to education abroad. We encourage listeners to consider multiple viewpoints, engage in respectful discourse, and form their own opinions. Thank you for tuning in and being part of our community.